The movie Jungle Cruise is a story about a mysterious curse dating back to 4 centuries and a powerful tree that can heal anything. It begins by lazily copying the exposition narration from The Lord of the Rings. The exposition guy talks about the Tears of the Moon, a legendary tree in the Amazon jungle whose petals can cure any illness and break any curse. Several hundred years ago, some conquistadors, led by a man named Don Aguirre, came looking for the tree, because nothing drives these colonists like the promise of power. But Aguirre and his men struggled to survive in the forest. Thankfully, they were found by the guardians of the tree who saved him. Aguirre is happy to be saved, and he thanks the locals by doing what every European did back then: burning the village. Typical. What a lovely gift. All because he wants the sacred arrowhead that can find the Tears of the Moon. But the jungle is magical, and it takes Aguirre and his men. Now on to 1916 during the First World War. Dr. Lily Houghton has asked the scholars for the sacred arrowhead, which has now been brought from the Amazons. She wants to cure all illness in the world using the Tears of the Moon. But the scholars do not believe her. So, Lily takes matters into her own hands and breaks into the archives by wearing a man's jungle uniform. Oh, the things one must do for science. Lily finally finds the sacred arrowhead in an old box and takes it. Just in time, too, because a German prince named Prince Joachim is also looking for it. He's definitely the bad guy. He's rich, he's German, and he has a bad guy mustache. So obvious. Joachim is looking for the Tears of the Moon to use it for the German Empire. They discover Lily, but she causes a scene and tries to escape as Jack Sparrow does. She is just about to fall. Just then, Lily's brother, Macgregor, stops a bus, allowing Lily to land safely. With the sacred arrowhead, Lily and Macgregor decide to go to the deadly Amazon. And it's still not as terrible as Jeff Bezos' Amazon. In the river, there is a boat captained by a beloved wrestler who's acting in big projects these days.
And his name is John C.
Nah, just kidding. It's just Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson acting as the same character as always while pretending to be in a different story. Here, his name is Frank, and he's a reckless boat skipper. But his real crime must be the terrible dad jokes.
Only 2 can play.
Upon returning to land, Frank's boss, Nilo, takes his boat's keys because Frank has not paid back some borrowed money. So Frank breaks into Nilo's office. He comes across Lily, who's also looking for Nilo. Lily mistakenly thinks that Frank is Nilo, and she asks for his help in her journey. She even shows him the original map that Don Aguirre's personal cartographer made 400 years ago. But Frank says that it's too dangerous and declines it. But Lily offers $20,000 for the journey. Ooh, the smell of money is too strong and Frank agrees. Unfortunately, Macgregor arrives with Nilo just then. Lily gets angry at Frank. But just then, Frank sees the sacred arrowhead and he immediately agrees to take her for a low price. Suddenly, a jaguar enters the bar. Just convenient enough for the hero to show his abilities. Frank wrestles the jaguar with his bare hands, because why not? Lily is impressed by him and chooses his services. Unknown to her, Frank has a pet jaguar named Proxima. Yes, Proxima was only pretending to attack them so Frank could show off. The next day, they prepare to leave. But our typical German villain, Joachim, is following close behind. And he has a friggin' submarine with a frickin' Gatling gun. So he starts shooting at the boat. When that is not enough, Joachim shoots a torpedo at them. But Frank goes up a ramp and avoids the torpedo, which explodes in a nearby shed. As for Joachim's submarine, a random anchor gets caught in its propeller with the power of plot armor. The submarine crashes into the harbor and Frank and his group continue on their journey. On the way, Frank tells his famous dad jokes. Lily hates them, like any normal person. But Macgregor loves them. That night, Frank feeds Lily and Macgregor a luxurious dinner of piranha. Appetizing. Later, Lily tells Frank about the Tears of the Moon, which she wants to use to heal everyone in the world. But Frank is cynical of the whole myth. Suddenly, they hear a loud noise. Proxima chases Macgregor out on deck. Lily realizes that Frank faked his fight earlier and she is disappointed with him. Elsewhere, Joachim and his men go to the place where Don Aguirre and his men were punished for trying to steal the sacred arrowhead. To release them, they need river water. Joachim tells them to help him find the sacred arrowhead. In exchange, he will free them. When they agree, Joachim brings lots of river water there. All the cursed men come back alive by turning into creatures like bees and snakes. The next day, Frank and his team have to go through some dangerous rapid waters. Frank navigates it well until they come to a waterfall. Of course, there's a waterfall. How original. And no matter how dangerous the waterfall is, they still manage to survive it. Some BS. They stop on the shore to chop some wood, where Frank impresses Macgregor by revealing that he knows Latin. Macgregor also hints that he is gay. When his friends and family turned their backs on him, Lily stood by him and supported him. Meanwhile, Lily breaks into Frank's room. There, she sees clippings of vehicles and very old drawings, including the sacred arrowhead. So, she demands to know why he knows about it. Frank reveals that a long time ago, he also came looking for the tears of the moon. But now, he's given up. He shows lots of maps that were made by Don Aguirre's cartographer. Meanwhile, on deck, Macgregor is shot by a tranquilizer. When Lily and Frank come out to check, they are hit as well by members of the Puka-Michuna tribe. The tribesmen take them back to their village. Frank talks to the leader, Trader Sam, who agrees to let them go. In return, they demand the arrowhead back. But Lily breaks free from her bonds and attacks the Puka-Michuna. But they turn out to be working with Frank to scam tourists. Lily and Macgregor angrily punch him. Later, Trader Sam translates the engraving on the arrowhead. She says that the tears of the moon will only bloom during the blood moon. And, conveniently, the blood moon is in 2 days. They also have to fix a broken heart to make the tree bloom. That night, the cursed conquistadors attack the village with the powers of the jungle. Don Aguirre appears in front of Frank and Lily, and he has snake powers. Some have powers of beehives, and some have powers of the swamp and toads. The bee dude manages to take the arrowhead and give it to Aguirre, who leaves. Frank follows him, but Aguirre stabs him. But Frank takes the arrow and throws it back to Lily. Then he falls into the river. Ouch, that's gotta hurt. Lily, Macgregor, and Trader Sam escape into the forest, but Macgregor breaks his leg. The cursed men follow the arrow, but they are too far from the river, and the jungle takes them back. Since they can't function far from the river, they send bees to tell Prince Joachim. The next morning, Lily finds Frank safe and alive. He's alive even with a sword through his chest. Frank reveals that his real name is Francisco Lopez de Heredia, and he is around 400 years old. Everyone is shocked to hear this except Trader Sam. She knew his truth. Lily removes the sword from Frank's chest. Just gotta say, Johnny Depp did it first, and he did it better. Lily asks Macgregor to stay back with the Puka-Michuna tribe because he is injured. Meanwhile, the magical bees reach Prince Joachim and tell him where they last saw the arrowhead. Back to the boat, Lily manages to patch up Frank. Then, Frank tells his story. Don Aguirre's daughter had fallen very sick, so Aguirre had promised her that he would bring back the tears of the moon to heal her. So our villain started his journey with good intentions. That's sad. Frank came with Aguirre on the expedition. He was the man who drew all the maps, including the one Lily had. Over time, the men started to die, but the Puka-Michuna used the tears of the moon to save them. When Aguirre asked them to give him some to save his daughter, the chief refused, saying that Aguirre was not worthy. So, Aguirre stabbed the chief while his men attacked the villagers. When the chief's daughter took the arrowhead, Aguirre went after her. But Frank stopped Aguirre, because what Aguirre was doing wrong. In turn, Aguirre stabs him. While the chief's daughter ran away with the arrow, the chief himself put a curse on Aguirre and his men. They could never go far away from the river. The jungle would always take them back. Over time, Aguirre and Frank fought several times. One day, Frank trapped them in a cave far from the river. When the jungle tried to take them back, they were trapped in the cave. Frank says that over time, he built a town where he made many friends, but they always died away while he stayed immortal. He was always lonely. Then he decided to search for the tears of the moon, but he gave up on that too. Since he always had to stay near the river, he became a boat captain. Meanwhile, Trader Sam and Macgregor are riding a canoe when Prince Joachim catches them. Joachim takes Macgregor and threatens to kill the Puka-Michuna people if he doesn't tell them where Lily is headed. So, Macgregor tells him where. Immediately after, Joachim kills the bees because he does not want Aguirre to know the location. Lily and Frank finally reach the location. There was a lever underwater, but Frank is too large to go through, so Lily has to do the job. They go down, but Lily gets trapped, so Frank gives her oxygen mouth to mouth. Lily goes to pull the lever while Frankie gets attacked by vicious piranha. But Lily manages to open the lever and the water starts draining. She also starts drowning. Thankfully, Frank saves her on time. They recover and they are amazed to see a hidden temple. Lily is happy for Frank and says that he can come to London after all of this. But Frank tells her that he plans to permanently rest after all of this. Just then, they see that Joachim and his submarine have also arrived. They immediately take Lily and Frank captive. Unknown to anyone, a bee has escaped. Joachim takes the arrow and reveals that he plans to use it for Germany and also become an immortal king. They all enter the temple on Frank's boat, but the tree is dead and turned to dirt. Joachim demands to know how to make the tree bloom. Frank and Lily agree to do it in exchange for one petal. Frank and Lily remember that they need to fix a broken heart. They realize that the arrow is actually a heart, and it's not broken. So they break it. Inside is a glowing gem. They put the ruby and the heart in their rightful places just as the blood moon appears. The tree blooms completely with tears of the moon. While everyone is distracted, Lily takes a gun and shoots Frank, who falls. Joachim smiles, thinking that he's won. While he and some men go to pick the petals, Frank attacks the men remaining on the boat. Then, Lily pushes a man and goes to the branch. The moon is fading and the tree is dying again. Not sure if the moon moves that fast, but okay. But she manages to pluck just one petal on time. However, she falls when the rotten branch breaks. As she holds on, Joachim comes and demands it from her. But Lily drops it to Frank and forcefully grabs Joachim's hand to get back on top. While Joachim is hanging, Aguirre and his men come and attack him. Then, they go after Frank for the petal which he is wrapped in a piece of cloth. Frank drops off Macgregor and Proxima, telling them that he loves Lily. Then, he leads the conquistadors away. Sailing straight towards the gate, the conquistadors try to fight him, but he fights them all back. Meanwhile, Joachim attacks Lily and Macgregor, but Macgregor beats Joachim back and some rocks crush him to death. Macgregor tells Lily that Frank told her that he loves her. Then, it is revealed that he gave the petal to Macgregor. Just then, the boat crashes and blocks the river. The entire place dries up. So, the jungle pulls them back. Since there is no way out, they are all cursed into stone again. This time, Frank is also with them. Lily comes up to him and puts the petal in his mouth. It disappears and does nothing. Looks like it didn't work, guys. Ha! Just kidding! Of course it worked! What else did you expect from a commercial movie? Lily runs back to him full of happiness and relief. Love is in the air, and so they kiss. Frank says that his wound hurts, revealing that he is no longer immortal. Just then, they see another petal blooming in the moonlight. They all go back to England. There, Frank finally gets to ride the car that he has seen only pictures of. And this is how this fun adventure ends. For more unique and fascinating movies that you may not even have heard about, click on the videos on your screen. Also, do subscribe, like, and comment. Your one act will make a huge difference to us.